TFA fam, what is up? What is happening? We are on week 11 and it is Sunday, and that means we got a full day of football. Got a lot of football actually over the next week, really. I mean, between Thanksgiving next week, got the Friday game. I mean, so it is looking up. And we're only after this week, 3 more weeks until the fantasy playoffs. So need some dubs today. So let's go ahead and let's just get right into it. Let's get into some of these questions that we got waiting in the chat. And a beautiful Sunday morning to the fantasy goats. Who to start at flex? Curtis Samuel, Ty Chandler, Christian Watson, or Romeo Dobbs? Now, Alexander Madison does sound like he's going to play tonight, so that really kills the Ty Chandler look.
And I can't trust any of the Green Bay receivers, despite being in a really solid matchup going up against the Chargers pass funnel offense. So, by process of elimination, I'm going to go Curtis Samuel here.
So,
just say Romeo Dobbs, and then
I'm not. I'm going to say Christian Watson.
Oh.
I have, and I could put my money where my mouth is on that. I'm playing 50% Christian Watson today in DFS.
Wow.
This is a smash matchup for them. The Chargers have allowed the most receptions of 20-plus yards this year, and it's not even close. And obviously, this works. And if you look, Jordan Love this year is top 2 in deep ball attempts. Now, where he's struggled is he's 22nd in deep ball completion percentage. But this matchup really aligns with Christian Watson. I know, I get it. He's been super frustrating this year. But the matchup is there. They're likely going to be playing in a passing game script this week. And so I strongly leaning into Christian Watson this week. So I actually have moved him up into my rankings, into my top 36, and I feel pretty good about it.
Okay.
So yeah,
I think if you're swinging for upside, it definitely resides in the Packers, one of the Packers receivers, right?
Yeah. Terry, Puka or Dell? This is going to be Tank Dell, but it is really close. I do like both of them, but I have Tank Dell at wide receiver 9.
Dell and Javonte for me.
Yep, I agree. JR, morning. Hope you are doing well. Hopefully you didn't drink too much.
Glad to see you back.
Yeah. Alexis, pick one wide receiver to flex. Hunt, Cooper, Metcalf, Ayuk, D-Hop. I'm going to go with the last 3.
Yep.
Also, is it a problem that I have Hurts, Swift, and Devonta all on my team? Should I try to trade away Devonta or just roll with all 3? I don't think it's like the end of the world, but like it's not super optimal to have all 3 of those guys and playing them every week. But if I was gonna flip one of them, I would probably try to flip Swift over Devonta. Swift now enters a really solid situation with Goddard, being out. So we've seen this before, but maybe or it could be smarter to because really Hurts and Swift are kind of like negatively correlate with each other because of the way that Hurts gets there and Hurts takes away touchdowns, and so. But I don't know how long Goddard's really going to be out because they never put him on IR, right?
Yep.
So you would think with a fractured forearm that would be, something that would, that would take some time. But I don't know. Maybe maybe it wasn't as bad that it was, and then they also had the buy in there. So maybe it is smart to try to get out of, Devonta before he comes back, because then he goes back kind of being in that same situation. But
yeah, I'm with you. Not optimal. I wouldn't be like selling below value just to get away from it, but I agree. I'd probably want to keep Swift just because of the running back landscape, right?
yeah, Ronnie, what is good? Need one for the flex. Javonte, Kirk, McKinnon, or Kincaid. I started Mixon Thursday, and he got me 21. Also going to run Achane. Wide receivers are Keenan and Amon-Ra. Also have Laporta. I'm going to go Javonte.
It's going to be Javonte for me as well. I am stepping back from Christian Kirk with Zay Jones activated for this game, so I'm not nearly as high on him as my early wide receiver ranking video would suggest. Thought he would for sure be out, especially after the arrest, but here we are.
Yeah. Bike walkers, Aaron Jones or James Conner or Laporta for my flex. I'm going to go Laporta here.
Yeah. Lagoda, baby.
Noel, Kincaid or Ford in the flex, half-point PPR. Could also start both and bench Mostert. Starting tight end is Hawkinson. So we leave that. Starting tight end is definitely going to stay at Hawkinson. And then
I know the Steelers haven't been great against running backs, but I think a lot of that is inflated by the fact they're missing Cam Hayward for the majority of the beginning of the season. I think he just came back 3 weeks ago, something like that. I think I would go Kincaid here.
being a half-point PPR, I think I'm going to go Jerome Ford. We saw him. I guess that was what I mean. I know things were a little different. That was the game that it's actually the rematch from whenever Nick Chubb went down, but he had over like 126 yards in that game. His role is starting to expand more, and it's a half-point PPR. So I think I'm going to go Jerome Ford here. He has a little bit more higher, I think, touchdown upside as well. So I think I'm just going to lean Ford on this one.
The GOAT, baby. TN. Appreciate you, man, as always. Never, just always at a loss for words. Good morning, gents. Half PPR wide receiver, Ridley or Rashee Rice. Thanks, and looking forward to Thanksgiving. Hooray for stuffing. Hooray for stuffing, indeed.
TN, you've been around here long enough. You know that I'm not a fan of stuffing, but it's neither here nor there. We've had this conversation, I believe. I remember, I think multiple times before. So I'm sure we'll have it again on Thursday, whenever we, or not Thursday, but Wednesday, whenever we do the next show. But this is so. I need you to answer first because I have a take, but
I'm going to go Rice here. With Zay Jones being back, obviously Christian Kirk is still. I mean, I really don't know what to expect in terms of his involvement. But literally, all they're doing with Calvin Ridley is lining him up on the outside and just having him run go routes, which is incredibly frustrating. He's being very, very misused. I don't understand it. And then obviously on the other side of that, it's a great matchup for anyone going up against the Philly secondary. So
I think that Rice is probably the safer option, right? Like I just think that's logically but he doesn't have much of a ceiling. At least to this point, we have not seen a situation of him having much of a ceiling. But this is actually a very, very good matchup for Calvin Ridley. This is like aligns to be a great matchup for Calvin Ridley. And I actually think Zay Jones being back actually helps Calvin Ridley. I think it frees him up a little bit more and I think he starts doing a lot of the things that Calvin Ridley was. And it's not necessarily surprising that the last time we saw Calvin Ridley really have a good game was with Zay Jones on the field. And I just think that there is a strong possibility that Calvin Ridley has a good game today. And I get it. It's super risky, TN. But I think there's a lot to like here. The matchup is there. Very good matchup. Now, it's a really good matchup, too, for the Chiefs. But what at least through the passing game, but what worries me always with Rashee Rice is that he does have that lower ceiling because they just spread the ball around so much. Like, 9 players are gonna, get receptions. Like, and so he has to score a touchdown. If he doesn't score a touchdown, you're looking at probably 3 or 4 fantasy points, where Calvin Ridley doesn't necessarily have that. And so I think I would go Calvin Ridley if you're just if you're just searching upside. If you're looking for more of a safer floor, I think I would go Rice. I think is the way that I would frame this. But I know Calvin Ridley's been super frustrating this year, as just the way that they've utilized him and just the way he's been. But this matchup really does align for Calvin Ridley to be in a better spot this week. And I was wanting to see. Let me see here really quick. Let's go here, and then we'll see how it's going to play. But that's the way I kind of look at it with this. Yeah. Yeah. So
So if you need to swing for the fences, it's Ridley. But if you just need some like a safer floor, it's Rice.
yeah, that's the way that I'm looking at this. And team not stuffing here. So that's also that might sway your opinion one way or the other on who's right and who's wrong on this, because I'm not a fan of stuffing.
Good stuffing is
Like, I just want to know, I guess, people in the chat, like, what is your go-to side dish for, say, like Thanksgiving? Because for me, it's never ever been stuffing. Stuffing's gross. I think for me, like sweet potato casserole is like right where it's at. Like that's the goat.
I mean, the best by far the best part about Thanksgiving is the day after where you just make the bowl with everything mixed together. Like that's undefeated.
And we're gonna get football. We're getting NFL football the day after Thanksgiving this year. So little 2 o'clock game.
But good stuffing is where it's at.
I have to.
Stuffing can go wrong. Stuffing can go very, very wrong. Dry, just not good. But my mom used to make the best stuffing.
Yeah, that's another one of those things. Is like people like, I think we talked about this like IPA, but this is another one. I was like, well, you haven't tried our stuffing yet? I'm like, no, there hasn't been a stuffing ever that I've ever tried that I've ever liked. Okay, just not my thing. I don't like it. But anyways, appreciate you, TN, as always. Absolutely,
Goat.
you are the goat. Noel, I think had another question.
Yeah,
Sit
sit
one,
one.
Nico, Marquise Brown, Deontay, Kincaid, McBride, full PPR, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, or 1 tight end, excuse me, and a flex, leading Deontay due to tough matchup.
Yeah, I would sit Deontay. I would roll out the 2 tight ends.
Yeah, there's not a lot to like here with that game. Feels like a game where Pickett might throw 20 times, especially with DTR starting. So, yeah.
Judy, Rondell Moore, Jacoby Myers, KJ Osborne, or Christian Watson in a half PPR. I think we need one from there. Judy, Moore, Jacoby, Osborne, Watson.
Tugging at me now.
I mean, you can't back down now, Kev.
Well, this is a conundrum because I actually also really like Rondell Moore today. Michael Wilson looks like he's going to be out. We've seen the connection between between Kyler and Rondell before. We just saw it last week. He had, I think, 10 targets last week, or it was 8 targets last week. But with Michael Wilson out, that kind of opens the door because they also have Greg Dortch. But Greg Dortch is much more of the slot guy, which is still Rondell Moore role. And so I think he might slide out to the outside. But I mean, this very well could be a 10+ target game for Rondell Moore. And so I think both of them are really in good spots, Christian Watson and Rondell Moore. I can say I also have a lot of Rondell Moore, but today, but it's between those two for me, and I'm gonna go Christian Watson though.
I would go Rondell Moore.
I'm perfectly okay with that. Like I said, I really like both of them a lot today. Michael Brown, pick a flex, Achane, Addison, Lockett, Ridley, or James Cook.
This is Achane. Lockett does look like he is going to play.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, who's the other option? Yeah, I guess I'll go with Achane. There's so much risk with him, one way or the other. Like I think there's a lot of upside with him this week, but there's also the downside that you know of how many touches he's going to get. I know we could talk about what he did earlier in the year, but that was a 3 game sample. Um, but yeah, I think I would still go Achane just for the upside that he provides. Harold, Aaron Jones or Montgomery, standard league. So in a standard league, I'm going to go Montgomery.
Money.
I am not a fan of Dave Montgomery this week. I have him as like a very low end wide or RB2, but in a standard league, he bumps up just because of that touchdown upside that he brings. So
not only that, revenge, baby.
Yeah, revenge game narrative is in the works. ET, TFA, start Godwin or Dobbs in non PPR, and Kittle or Kincaid. So this is going to be Godwin and Kincaid for me.
Yeah, Godwin and Kincaid.
Noel, AJ Dillon, Latavius, or Royce Freeman, half point PPR down bad with buys. Yeah, I would go Royce Freeman here.
Let's go. I'm with you.
Our ma'am, Tam. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Tam. Pick one. Running back, wide receiver, flex one. So I guess.
So we have a running back, wide receiver flex, a wide receiver tight end flex, one wide receiver, and one RB2. So I'm going to lock in Achane at the RB2 spot. Wide receiver, Nico.
No, DJ Moore. Sorry, but yes, keep going.
Well, I flex.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, semantics.
And then we need one more flex.
Yeah, so then I would go Jerome Ford.
Yep. Glad we worked through that.
Yeah, DJ Moore is one of my favorite plays today. Ken, Pollard or Pacheco? PPR must win. I'm leaning towards Pacheco. I'm leaning towards Pollard.
Pollard, but I get why you're leaning toward Pacheco, but it's just an infinitely better matchup for Pollard. And we do have the narrative of what I guess CeeDee Lamb said in in an interview where he was like, yeah, obviously I'm going off. We got Cooks in the end zone. Next up, we're going to get TP rolling. So it's a great matchup for him. Hopefully we see it, but
yeah. Dustin, I need 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, full PPR. Wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, Tank Dell, Rashee Rice, and running back, Kenneth Walker.
First 3 for me.
Yeah, I agree. Ty Chandler or Swift, and I'm not playing Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler now with Alexander Madison playing. So I'm going Swift.
Yep.
Generations X over on Twitch. What's up, my guys? Pick 3: Adams, Dell, Moore, Godwin, and Cooper. It's gonna be the first 3 for me.
Yeah, first 3.
Porter again, Pickens or Noah Brown at offensive position. Well, have we got a confirmation one way or the other on Noah Brown?
It doesn't sound good. They're going to test him out pre-game to see if he's able to go, but it's kind of, I think it's like almost like a foregone conclusion that he's not going to play. And even if he does, like that doesn't sound great. And that's not something I'd be willing to put in my lineup. I can't remember where I heard it, but the Browns do play an awful lot of single high, which is going to open up one-on-one opportunities for Pickens. And we know that's where Kenny Pickett does like to target Pickens. So I think Pickens is could be in for a sneaky type of day today. So I would go there. And then Porter, if Noah Brown doesn't play, I don't think he does. Otton or Pickens, that's still going to be Pickens for me.
I'm going to say this, Porter. Look to see if Rondale Moore is sitting out there, because I know he's pretty widely available for most people. If he's sitting out there, I'm playing Rondale Moore all day. Yeah. And I have another name for you that I didn't think we were going to get to, but you never know. And that's going to be Darnell Mooney. I actually really like Darnell Mooney today in this matchup as well. So you beat them from the slot. He plays the majority in the slot. And so I think Darnell Mooney is also a really, really good play today. And I'm not high on George Pickens. I have George Pickens at wide receiver 50. You have the like I said, the narrative that they're probably not going to throw the ball very much. He's also been, he was benched a little bit last week. Like, so there's just a lot of things. Like, I think if he gets there, it's going to have to be on some sort of like a long touchdown. Or Patty Fry is also returning, so that eats into this opportunities as well. And for a team that's not going to throw the ball much today, like, I don't have a lot of confidence. Like, I can say personally, I am a owner of George Pickens, and I benched him for Quentin Johnston today. I'm just not that high on the situation. He possibly could get there, but it's just not the greatest matchup. So, like, if one of those like were available, I would probably rather play them over playing George Pickens. I just think there's too much volatility there with him this week.
Yeah.
Michael Brown, with players like Achane returning from IR, which two players would you drop from these options? My quarterbacks are Howe, Murray, and Dobbs. My wide receivers are Lockett and Ridley. Running backs James Cook. So this is going to depend for me if this is I would assume this is a single quarterback league, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you just drop Sam Howell and Dobbs and roll Kyler Murray
Yeah,
the
it
rest of
would.
the season. Because I'm not
Yeah.
dropping Lockett or Ridley or James Cook.
Yeah.
And
I
there's just
agree.
no real reason to have three
Has to be the
quarterbacks.
QBs here.
Yeah. Dak or Mahomes is Mahomes.
Yep.
Jake, start two. Pollard, Monty, or Mostert. So it's Pollard.
Maybe Pollard and Mostert for me.
Yeah, I think I would go Mostert. Montgomery just scared me because you never know how many touchdowns. I mean, that's the part with him that is tough. Just because I think there's still a scenario where he could score a couple touchdowns. I mean, it could be like 16 for 50 and 2 scores.
Yeah. It's funny you say 50. I think his prop total is at like 51.5 rushing yards. So it's funny you say 50.
Noel, Ridley, Garrett Wilson, Deontay Godwin, or Addison. I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson here.
I'm gonna go Godwin. Wilson would be my second choice.
And then Josh Dobbs or Tua. This is Tua.
Tua.
Josh Twinner. Good to see Josh in here.
Mm-hmm.
Morning, Josh. Start two in standard. Cup, Debo, Evans, or Ford. So
Cup and Evans.
Yeah, I'd probably go Cup and Evans too. Vincent, start two, half point PPR. Madison, McKinnon, Charbonnet. Yes, my current situation is a complete disaster. I don't know. We just there's been some rumblings. Let me put it that way from the things I've seen that the Zach Charbonnet game is coming. Take that for whatever it's worth. At some point,
Jalen Guyton is out. Just in case anyone was curious, that just came through.
Yeah, that's why that's one reason I think Quentin Johnston deserves a bump, because we saw Jalen Guyton last week get a 15% target share. Guyton did. I mean, you're down to a banged up Keenan Allen, Eckler, and Darius Davis is there too. But he could end up being a kind of a solid play too, kind of somebody that they get the ball in space. But Eckler could see also like 20 targets today. It's like well within range possibility.
Yeah.
But as far as this question is concerned, I think
with Madison expected to go, I'm going to go Madison and Charbonnet. I mean, unless you just need to like swing for the fences, you could throw in McKinnon, because like it's not like any of these guys like really have like a safe floor maybe outside of Madison. But if you kind of just need to swing for the fences, you could go McKinnon and hope he just has one of his games where he catches 4 or 5 balls. I mean, if they're not going to want, they're smart enough to not run into the teeth of that Philly defense. So this could be a game where McKinnon is used as like an extension of the run game, right? And they just get him involved through. So I think I just talked myself into it. I'm gonna go Madison and McKinnon.
Yeah. I'm not super excited about Madison. Let me put it that way. I was
No,
thinking about
no,
going
I think
McKinnon and
you're.
Charbonnet, but I think you're probably right. Probably safer to go Madison. Madison, and then I think I would go Charbonnet over McKinnon. But there is a lot. I think there is a real path for McKinnon to get there, especially when you're talking about the way you don't attack the Eagles on the ground, and you never have to give Andy Reid any excuse to not run the football. So that's that's what worries me that Madison see a lot of touches, and you could see a lot of scheme touches for McKinnon in a game like this. And so I do think there is a lot of intrigue there, but I still think probably Madison and Charbonnet is probably the way that I would play it. But C. Crip, need a wide receiver to flex, full PPR, White, D Hop, Debo, McLaurin, Deontay, or Rashee Rice. I would go D Hop and D Hop and McLaurin.
I'll lean D Hop and Debo, but McLaurin would be next in line.
Ashton, Singletary or Spear. This is Devin Singletary.
Singletary. Yep.
I have for the record, I have Devin Singletary as a top 10 running back now. So I have him at RB9.
Yeah, great matchup.
Drew, good morning. Rest of season, which two would you rather have? Kenneth Walker, Michael Pittman, or A Chain? Or okay, Kenneth Walker and Michael Pittman, or A Chain and Hollywood Brown.
Achane and Hollywood Brown.
I think I'd rather have the Kenneth Walker and Michael Pittman side, but it's close.
I think with Kyler returning, I don't think we see many more games the rest of the season where Hollywood Brown is the fourth in the pecking order in terms of targets. He did just miss that long touchdown last week as well. With Achane back and healthy, so you have Ken Walker, who's going to potentially be working with limited targets. Obviously he's explosive, but it's not on the same level as Achane for me. And then I think the mullet has lost a little bit of his luster there. And we're seeing, Josh Downs be involved in that. Now we have Jonathan Taylor back at full strength. So I'm going to lean Achane and Hollywood on that one.
Madison or Ford? This is going to be Jerome Ford.
Ford.
What's up, Kyle? Ashton, sit one, Hunt, Dotson, or Herbert. I'm going to sit Kareem Hunt. But I can totally understand if you want to sit Khalil Herbert too, just not really knowing the role. At least with Hunt and Dotson, we know the role. Dotson, I have a top 36 wide. I have a wide receiver 36 actually.
I think I would sit Dotson. It's just really hard to trust with Curtis Samuel back in the lineup. How often are they going to be throwing in this matchup as well? I think I saw Foreman was questionable. D'Onta Foreman. So yeah, the Q tag. So maybe that opens things up a little bit for Herbert. And we did have Herbert with 3 straight full practices last week. So he was kind of like a surprise inactive in that regard. So I'm assuming he's good to go. So I'm gonna sit Dotson here because I feel a little bit better about the touches that the other two will see.
One interesting development is that Jeff Wilson's out. I wasn't expecting that. That's interesting. I don't know. I'm guessing it's just a healthy scratch.
Achane season.
Yeah. Got to start two. Garrett Wilson, Cortland Sutton, or Calvin Ridley PPR.
God.
It's going to be Garrett Wilson.
I'm going to sit Ridley.
I'm going to go Ridley and Garrett Wilson.
Figured we were going to be split there.
Steven Joe, Dell or Metcalf? This is going to be Tank Dell.
Dell, baby.
And watch, Nico Collins is going to have himself a day. Just the way it works. C. Crip, need a flex and a defense. D Hop, Ridley, Myers, or Henderson. I'm gonna go Derek, or I'm gonna go D Hop.
D Hop and sorry. I go D Hop in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I agree on the defense too.
That's what I'm saying, Shaka. Never had good stuffing.
That's what I'm so tired of hearing that take. Like that's what people think. Like that's what they're always their answers. Well, you just never had good. No, it's not good. It's just not good.
You've never had good stuffing.
That's like people will talk about like green bean casserole and stuff. You know, I'm like, who the fuck wants green bean casserole? And I like green beans. I'm a fan of green beans. Like I have no hate on some green beans. Put some shallots in there, some garlic, a little bit of olive oil and stuff. Good. Just not a fan of green bean casserole.
I like it. It's fine. Like I'll always take like one serving for the person who put the time in and the effort to make it. But like that's not one where I'm like, you know what, babe, when you get me seconds, load it up with the GBC.
That's true.
I'll always have one out of respect. It's okay. But there's never been an amazing green bean casserole.
Yeah. Rob, start 2 at a PPR. Nico, DJ Moore, Mostert, or Connor. This is going to be the first 2 for me.
Yeah, in a PPR, yeah.
Would you trade Ridley for Madison? No. I know it's as crazy as it is. I'm still concerned that Madison's going to lose this job to somebody. And it could very well could be Ty Chandler. Like, he just hasn't been very good. Like, he just hasn't been this year. And so I know the other side of that argument is neither is Calvin Ridley, and you are absolutely true on that. But I'm just not a fan of Madison. Like I just can't do it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind trading Ridley for a running back, but it would not be Madison.
Yeah. Watson or Josh Reynolds? This is gonna be Watson for me.
Yep.
Morning, JR. Hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing well as well. I have Bijan on bye, so I roll Henderson or James Cook. This is going to be James Cook for me.
James Cook, but I do like the spot that Henderson is in.
Yeah. Big Truss. Flex. Tank. What? It's Tank. I was like, oh, well, first, like, do I even need to read the rest of these? Because I have Tank Dell at wide receiver 9. So,
yeah, it's
Hollywood, funny. Tyler Lockett, or Nakua. But I do really like Nakua. I have Nakua as top 12. I have him at 12. And then Keenan and Amon-Ra are already starting. Yeah, you play those guys.
Yeah, great spot.
Phantom, halfway PPR starting to flex. Breece Hall, Nico, or Rashee Rice. I'm going with Breece Hall.
God. I'm going to go Nico. I really like that game environment. And it just seems like, on the other hand, it seems like Breece Hall's quote unquote due. Like I feel like he's had like almost every long run called back over the past couple of games that we've been forced to watch because they refuse to move the Jets out of the primetime games. It's another good spot for Breece. I'm not afraid of the matchup there going up against Buffalo, but I just like this overall game environment better for. And who would have thought we would have said that at the beginning of the year? Like, you know what? Sign me up for the Cardinals and Texans. That has fantasy goodness written all over it. But yeah, because of that, I'm going to go Nico.
I just really like the spot for Breece Hall. You could run against the the Bills. It's a good matchup for him. He's starting to see just an incredible workload now. So yeah, I think he's somebody that you could see break off a big run. I know obviously you never want to bet on the Jets offense, but I just think Brees Hall is in a really good spot. So beast mode, Dell or Puka, it's Dell.
Yep.
Achan or Brees at RB2. I'm gonna go Brees, but I assume you're gonna go Achan.
Yeah. But I like Brees as well. I think Brees is, like I said, I think Brees is in a good spot. It's been very disappointing outside of that blow up week. What was that, 3 or 4 weeks ago against the Broncos, I believe. Um,
I guess we could actually just play both because or Kirk, Cortland, or Achan.
there,
Yeah,
there
so
we
let's just
go.
play both. How about
Yeah.
that? Let's just do that there, Big
Yep.
Trust. Beast mode again, Gibbs or Henry? This is Gibbs.
Gibbs.
If you haven't already, you could join our Discord. It's absolutely free to join. Just click that link right there, get you in there. Like I said, no strings attached. Just it is our community where a lot of questions get asked and answered and stuff like that. Whether it's trade or waivers or start sit questions, all of that's in there. Multiple different channels through whether you play Dynasty, Redraft, DFS, all those things are in there. So it's pretty fun. It's a lot of good conversation going on all day. So if you, like I said, absolutely free to join. So let's see, Henry or Mostert. This is going to be Derrick Henry for me.
Mostert for me.
Sleek full PPR start two. Dave Montgomery, Chris Godwin, Javante, or Nico. This is going to be the last two for me: Javante and Nico Collins.
I'm gonna go Godwin and Nico in a full PPR. I know Javante's been getting involved as a pass catcher. Don't love the matchup for Javante, although we have seen him like basically start to completely take over this backfield over the past couple weeks. But I'm gonna go Godwin and Nico on this one.
Generations again over on Twitch. Singletary, Pacheco, or Herbert. This is going to be Singletary for me.
Yep.
Still have a trade pending for me to Hollywood for Cooper. Do I take it or to see what happens today first?
I want Hollywood rest of the season.
Yeah, over Amari Cooper, yes. And then C Crip, Justin Fields, Dobbs, or Murray.
Ooh, who would have thought this would have been? I mean, I guess Dobbs is the only one here that is the unexpected one. I'm gonna go
Kyler.
Murray.
Yeah, it is really close. I really do like Justin Fields today. I'm playing a lot of him as well in DFS. But yeah, that's why I'm going to go. So I have Murray at 8 and Justin Fields at 10. So I think both of them are really good. And then I have Dobbs just for context at 15. So Brock, start 2, full PPR, Monty, Saquon, Aaron Jones, and Achan.
It's gonna be Saquon and Achan for me. So what a stud name, by the way, Brock Wild. That's a strong name.
I'm going to go with Aaron Jones and Saquon.
Coward. I don't know why you hate Achan so much.
I don't hate him. I just think that we're
do.
getting a little excited over a 3-week stretch of games that one of them that included a 70-point explosion from that's a complete outlier. And I just think that I just don't know exactly what his role is going to be and like or how many touches he's going to see, like how this game could play out. We do typically see running backs that come off of high ankle sprains tend to have a little bit of a drop in efficiency over their first couple of weeks returning from that injury. And so I'm just a little bit lower on him than I think consensus is this week. I don't mind him. I don't hate him by any means. Like, like to me, I think I would rather play. I think if you wanted to make the argument, Aaron Jones and Achan would probably be the better way to go over Saquon. This could go really poorly for Saquon Barkley in this matchup. Obviously, Tommy DeVito's still playing. He's just really hard to trust this week. And so I think maybe the better argument, maybe you just go Achane and Aaron Jones. Just talking about their offenses they're in, their upside that they possess. Saquon doesn't have a lot of it with the situation and how everything's playing out there with that team. So I do think, yeah, all right, I'll go Achane and Aaron Jones. Let's do that. So Shelton, Josh Allen, or Kyler Murray? It's still going to be Josh Allen for me.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Though I am lower on Josh Allen because the Jets seem to be his kryptonite, right?
Yeah. Hopefully, we get Josh Allen running a bit more. Could help offset that.
Yeah, that seems to be some of the speculation that he's actually going to run a lot more now, which would help. DJ Moore, Nico Collins, full PPR. It's going to be DJ Moore for me. We're just going with the triple stack. No, not DJ Moore plays for the Bears. What are you talking about? I see Nico in there, but yeah, I'm going DJ. I'm going DJ Moore.
They're really close for me. I'll go DJ Moore. It's really close.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit lower in terms of matchup here for Nico. The way that the Cardinals operate, it's a terrific matchup for Dalton Schultz and Tank Dell. It's not as good for Nico Collins. I still like Nico Collins. Anybody that's going to be tethered to CJ Stroud, but I still just prefer DJ. I think DJ Moore is in such a good spot this week with Justin Fields back.
Yeah.
Fields or Stroud? This is going to be Stroud.
Stroud.
Michael Brown, Howell or Kyler? It's going to be Kyler.
Kyler. It was not Pickens or Rondale Moore if he's available.
Yes.
God damn it, Porter.
Jimmy. Sorry. Bruce. Full PPR. Michael Wilson is out. Yep. Your thoughts on Michael Wilson's flex? Here. Perfect segue there, Bruce. I really, really like Rondale Moore. I think he is a really strong play today. I'm as a top 36 wide receiver. Michael Wilson being out really opens the door for Rondale Moore. He seems to have a real rapport with Kyler Murray as well. We've seen it multiple times last year where he had, some spike weeks. I think that this could very well be one of them. This is definitely a game script. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot. Rondale Moore saw 8 targets last week. He actually saw 60 air yards, which is not typically how we've seen him use in the past. He was more of a guy that is used around the line of scrimmage. And so,
at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
behind it.
Scrimmage. So I really like Rondale Moore today. I think you can play him, especially in PPR formats, with pretty solid confidence. He's the guy that I have moved up dramatically in my rankings ahead of probably where consensus has him. The other one is probably is Christian Watson. Really like Christian Watson, and then Darnell Mooney is the other one that I have moved up. Also, should be reported Noah Brown is out today too.
Appreciate the super chat, Bruce. Got another one here from Michael Smith. Appreciate you as well. My guy, 10-team half PPR. Need to start 2 running backs and 1 flex. Pollard, Ford, Singletary, Hawk, Collins. And should I start Howell over Fields? So I'm going to go Fields over Howell.
Yep.
And then we need 3 Pollard, Singletary. I'm going to go Hawkinson over Collins.
Yeah, I don't know who you'd have at tight end. I wonder who you play at tight end because that you wouldn't play Hawkinson. But yeah, we've just seen Josh Dobbs just absolutely lock on 2 tight ends. Even when he was back with Arizona, he was doing the same thing. Did the same thing here. I mean, there had those speculation that he was going to be on some sort of snap count or wasn't going to play that much. Well, that was wrong. So yeah, I can't sit TJ Hawkinson. Where do I have him? I have him at tight end 2. So yeah, really love TJ Hawkinson this week. So
yeah,
appreciate the super chats. By the way, yeah, sorry. Jimmy, half point PPR, I flex John Dotson, Jalen Warren, or Deontay Johnson versus Cleveland.
Golly. Man. I think I'm going to go Warren.
I'm going to go Dotson, but I really have no problem with going Jalen Warren over Jahan Dotson. Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren could see 20 touches today. I think this is going to be very much a ground and pound type affair here between these two teams. Very ugly type game. So Jalen Warren, I think you could definitely get there. Emmy, Josh Allen, or Kyler?
Still going to be Allen for me, but I get it.
It is close. Like I said, I moved him around. I have Josh Allen down at quarterback 7, but I have Kyler at 8. So Augustin, who should I start? RB1, RB2, Monty Singletary, Chuba, Javonte, or Darrell Henderson? This is going to be Singletary and Javonte for me.
That is correct.
Emmy again, Madison, Herbert, or Quentin Johnston for flex. This is going to be Quentin Johnston for me with Jalen Guyton out.
Yeah, I would throw the dart here and go Quentin Johnson. We also have Gerald Everett out as well. And obviously no Josh Palmer.
Yeah. Better for Browns, Tannehill, Jimmy G, or Flacco? Well, they can't get Jimmy G, right? Unless the Raiders release him.
Unless they just release.
Yeah. Tannehill, same thing. He'd have to be released. So Flacco is really the only option they have. I guess they should.
And then wouldn't Tanny and Jimmy G have to clear waivers as well? Like I'm assuming there would be other teams ahead of the Browns that would be able to.
Well, I don't know because they have different rules. Because I think as veterans, I don't think you hit waivers if you're have so many years in a veteran. I don't think you go.
Okay.
So I think but it would be really what motivation do the Raiders have to drop Jimmy G at this point? Like you're getting nothing for it, right? You're just dropping him to drop him at this point. So that's not going to happen. And then Tannehill is kind of the same thing. Like what are you getting from it, from dropping him? You might as well wait, hope they sign somewhere if you were going to do that. And then you would get maybe get a compensatory draft pick or something for them. Like I just don't think that makes sense. So I think it's probably going to be Flacco, which I guess that's better. Like I know there was some people talking about seeing what Matt Ryan's up to in the boost if he wants to come down and play quarterback. Like it sucks for the Browns, but this is also just another good example of why you should keep your backup quarterback, right? And have a quality backup quarterback ready. There's a lot of teams that have been very smart about doing that. Jacoby Brissett was a guy they had there. Like they could have just kept him on the roster as the backup.
Josh Dobbs.
Or speaking of which, Josh Dobbs was there. Yeah, he was there in the preseason. They could have kept him, and they didn't. And now they're in this situation. So it sucks. But your best bet is probably going to be Flacco, right? There's just not a whole lot of quarterbacks sitting out there. Maybe Phillip Rivers, right? There was talk about him calling him to see if they made the Super Bowl. But see what old Phil's up to. But yeah.
Just had his 10th kid. Can you imagine?
No. I could not.
One's enough.
Yeah. TX, who to bench? Ridley, Kirk, or D-Hop?
That one's going to be Kirk for me. Just with Zay Jones being back.
Yeah, I think you have to bench one of them. I'm not playing both Jags.
Yeah.
Lions, Broncos, or Vikings D? This is going to be Lions for me.
Yeah.
Frenzy. 2 running backs, 2 running receivers, 1 flex. Javonte, Ford, Singletary, Henry. Okay, so the 2 running backs for me is going to be Javonte and Singletary.
Yep.
And then wide receivers is going to be Dell and Moore, but then I'm going to flex DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I would flex Metcalf over Ford.
And then TX Ford or Warren, half-point PPR is going to be Ford for me.
Ford.
Alexis, any running backs or wide receivers you guys would target for DeAndre Swift? Just looking for ideas. Would like someone like Rachaad White make sense, or could I go higher? No, I mean Rashad White's actually been really good like the last month, but he's also been really good for the last month. And so like you're not like I don't think Swift's going to get it done for Rashad White with the way Rashad White's been playing, right? And so like I don't know if you could get there with that. Some of it would be maybe waiting to see what happens with Swift this weekend. If he can have a good game on Monday night, then I think it makes him easier, especially coming off bye, but like maybe easier to flip. But in terms of the other running backs that you would be looking at, like I would say Javante, but he's also coming off a 21-point performance. Now this is a not as good of a matchup this weekend. So if you were to struggle, then Javante could be somebody that you could look to flip for him. I think that would be fine. And then
I mean, Alexis, depending on your running back depth, like I think I would just hold Swift because, like you said, Rashad White has been good, but like I don't think what he's been doing is sustainable, right? Like I've talked about it on some of the lives already this week. The 1 week he went off 2 touchdowns from the one, not exactly repeatable, especially for someone like Rashad White. We're not talking about like a Dave Montgomery type running back there. And then last week he had a 40-yard reception touchdown. Where you're talking about 11 of his, I can't remember how many he ended up with, but like 11 of his fantasy points was on that one play. Like if I had Rashad White, I'd probably be looking to sell high on him versus buying him.
Yeah. Adam PPR Chuba versus Dallas or Spears versus Jags. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go Spears.
I think I'm gonna go Chuba just because we know he's the starter. We kind of has a little more defined role, but
that gap started to close last week, though.
Yeah,
I think it was last week.
We buy homes.
We buy any car.
Start one wide receiver, one flex between Nico, Tank, Saquon, Hollywood Brown, Walker, and Christian Kirk. So the wide receiver is going to be Tank.
Ooh.
And then at flex, I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker and a non-PPR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ronnie, Browns or Lions defense is Cleveland.
Yep.
And Laporta or Kincaid.
Laporta.
I think it's splitting hairs for these two guys. I really like both of them. I would go Kincaid. I have Kincaid one spot ahead of Laporta, but I think both of them are in very, very, very good spots. Mario, full PPR, Lockett or Hopkins today? I'm going to go Hopkins. Especially with Lockett being a little banged up coming into this game, kind of worries me a little bit. So I would go DeAndre Hopkins. Really good spot for him.
D-up.
Thank you, JR. Defo, morning. Bench one, Adams, Jacobs, or Hall. Shit. That's tough.
I'm going to bench Jacobs.
I'm going to bench Devontae Adams, and I hate myself.
As you should. I mean, I know obviously Adams has not been good outside of like truthfully like what 1 or 2 games this year, I believe. But Jacobs, I think, has 2 targets over the past 2 weeks. Now, could this be a game where we see him more involved? Sure. But I think this ends up being one of these Dolphins games. Like Jacobs has been getting there because he's been getting damn near 30 carries the past couple of weeks, right? Like I don't see that in the deck of cards for him in this matchup at Miami. So that's why I'm going to sit him here in a full PPR.
Trey, pick one. Murray, Dobbs, or Fields. This is going to be Murray.
Murray by a smidge.
Yeah, but I do really like Justin Fields this week. But
yeah.
Drew Teller, you guys still like either Kirk or Stevenson over Metcalf for my flex?
I would go Stevenson. I'd rank them Stevenson, DK, and then Kirk. Like I said, did not see Do not see Zay Jones being active for this one, so that's really pushing Kirk down for me in this one.
Why am I blanking? Stevenson.
Ramondre, running back, New England Patriots.
Yeah, but they're on bye, right?
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, they're on bye. That's why I was like, what? So I kept thinking, I was like, it's got to be somebody else because Stevenson's on bye. The Patriots are on bye, along with.
Ah.
So that's why it was throwing me
Yeah,
off. But
good.
I was like, Stevenson. What's Stevenson? Like, and I was thinking,
Good
like,
thing
is
you
there
said
another
that.
Stevenson I'm just not blanking on that I'm not thinking of?
That's hilarious because, like, in my mind, I was like, he's in a good matchup this week. Good thing you, good thing you said that. I would go DK over Kirk here.
I've actually
Yeah,
already
let's,
started looking into
or
next
maybe it's
week.
because we were talking. Maybe it's because we were talking about Stevenson being a buy for the for rest of the season.
They actually
For
do have a very good matchup next week. That's why because I actually was
okay,
getting prepared a little bit for the waivers this week, just because of looking ahead for some streaming options at quarterback last night, and they get the Giants, so they do have a good matchup coming up. It's just not this week because they are on bye. That's why it's like we're throwing me off. I'm like, what the like? I'm losing my mind here. I'm like, who could Stevenson be? Okay. um. What was the okay? So Kirk, Kincaid, or Metcalf over Metcalf. I'm still going to go Metcalf.
yeah,
Okay, that was
harder than it should have been.
yeah. Dell, take or dual guitar, take Dell or Godwin. I'm gonna go God or Dell.
Try not to overreact, but with Tank Dell and his quarterback situation likely more locked up, I would lean Tank Dell. Trying not, like I said, trying not to overreact with recency bias, because obviously we have seen Chris Godwin be what, a top 3 finisher in fantasy, but I would lean Tank Dell.
Yeah. Impossible. Who to start? Half point PPR. 4 and 6. One quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, one flex. So a quarterback, I'm going Murray. If you want to go
Murray.
Herbert, I get it. Like Herbert's been really good this year. Um, I just have Herbert at 10.
Then I would go B Rob and Hendo.
Yep. Amon Ra, Dell. And then I would go. No, I would go Godwin.
Godwin.
Zay Jones or Khalil Herbert. I think I would just go
I'll go
Zay.
Herbert.
It's fine if you want to go. If you want to go Herbert, I get it. But Mike, what's up, guys? In this game, just sit Herbert and start Stroud. Yes, I am playing Stroud over Herbert.
I'll go Stroud.
Yes. Mike, Zay Jones, McKinnon, or Freiermuth for flex PPR. I'm gonna go McKinnon here.
McKinnon.
Edgar. Gino or Kyler? This is Kyler.
Kyler.
Quite easily. Sebastian, start 2. Najee, Mostert, Singletary, full PPR. This is going to be the last 2. Raheem Mostert and Devin Singletary.
Yep.
Possible again. Which defense to stream? Commanders. Yeah, stream Commanders. I have the Commanders at the number 2 defense overall this week, just behind the Cowboys. So
I would go Dolphins.
interesting. Donkey. Need to start 2 running backs, 1 flex. Achane Mostert, Hunt, Harris, Thielen, or Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas. I
Tom.
mixed somebody together. Great reading there. So 2 running backs going to be Achane. I'm doing it. I'm going to go Achane and Mostert. I'm going to start them both. Get all the points, all the running back points from there.
Yep.
And then the flex, I'm going to go Thielen.
Thielen.
Brew Neal, morning. I had to pick up Chandler, but with Madison back, should I drop him for Royce Freeman? No,
Yeah, I'd play Freeman.
I would too. So I would play I would play Freeman over him, but I still rest of season I still want Ty Chandler. I don't think I'd want to drop him. Like he's
I
still
think
going to
there's
be
a
involved.
possibility.
So like this is the way I would look. Go ahead. No, you say what you got to say.
I was just gonna say I think you could drop Chandler and still pick him up next week. Like if you need a running back to start, I would drop Chandler, pick up Freeman, and then because then after this week we're likely getting Kyren Williams back, so then you can drop Freeman and pick up Chandler.
So, and this is what I would say though. Both of these guys are going to be both these guys are going to play and going to be involved. I like just because Alexander Madison's playing does not mean that Ty Chandler's not going to have a role. Like he's still going to play. It's just not as good of a role or not as exciting of a role as we thought it was going to be with him being out. And so both these guys are splitting touches in the backfield. And so with Chandler being somebody I want more long term, because like you just mentioned, Kyren coming back, like then Freeman is droppable after this week, where Chandler is somebody I still want on my roster. And so, and it's still a good matchup. The Broncos are still really bad against the run. And so I still think he can get there. And so I still think I would go Chandler over Freeman in the situation, knowing that long term I want to keep Chandler over Royce Freeman. Hello, Ronnie. Dustin. What's up? Hope all is good. You're rolling with Thielen or Deontay. I'm gonna go Thielen.
Thielen.
Truth teller, start one wide receiver, start one for wide receiver 2 spot and one for flex spot. Evans, Dell. So Dell's locked in. Achane, Dotson, Lockett, McBride. Kelsey's tied in 1. I'm gonna go Trey McBride here.
Man.
So the conversation to me revolves around Mike Evans, Achane, and McBride.
I'm sure I'm gonna be alone on this. I would play Achane over Jacobs, and then I would go Evans and Dale.
Yeah, I can't. I just with Jacobs, he just sees so much volume, and I just can't sit that. And so to me, I think it just comes down to that point for me. And so if you want to go Evans over McBride, totally get it. Or even Achane. Like Achane has an incredible ceiling. We've seen it multiple times this year so far. It is a good matchup against the Dolphins or against the Raiders, excuse me. I know some of the recent numbers you look at, recent trends with the Raiders. Looks like their defense has gotten better, but they've also got to play the Jets and the Giants. As part of a couple of teams they played recently. It's just with McBride, McBride is in such an incredible spot this week. He is seeing an incredible target share. Michael Wilson is out. That's going to help even more so for Trey McBride. Where you attack the Texans, you can attack them with the tight end. So, I love Trey McBride this week, and I don't want to sit him if I don't ever have to. But I do think logically, I think Evans and Achane also really have a good argument to be played, especially Achane, just because of how incredible that ceiling is. And then with Jeff Wilson being rolled out, it kind of makes him more attractive. I just can't sit Jacobs for that, and so I get it on the other two.
Yeah, if you don't want to sit Jacobs, it would be Dell and Achane for me.
Yeah, I totally. I'm on board with that. Ronnie, thoughts on Rondale Moore? We've answered this one already. Love Rondale Moore this week. I have him as a top 36 wide receiver. Again, short story. He 8 targets last week. He has multiple games where he has played well with them. Really, the only other option they really kind of have is Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch is more of a slot wide receiver. That's where Rondale Moore plays. It is encouraging to see that he saw 60 air yards last week, which is a little bit different than what the role we've seen from him. So I just think I think Rondale Moore is a really, really solid play today if somebody's looking for a wide receiver. Donkey need 2 running backs, 1 flex.
We already got it.
You're right. We went with 2 running backs, and then we went with Thielen. Sorry. Running backs. This is Pollard for me. ET, good morning, TFA. I'm not sure if you're answering my question earlier, but I need your help. Godwin or Dobbs, Kittle, Kincaid, and non-PPR. Thanks. What do we go with?
It's going to be Godwin and Kincaid.
Yeah, that's right. Coleman. Love you too. How do I flex? Ty Chandler, Amari, or Quentin Johnson, half-point PPR?
Swing for the fence, baby. Going Quentin.
Yeah. It's tough, though. I mean, obviously Amari Cooper, but DTR, I don't know what to expect from that situation. He did not look good the last time we saw him. I know he says now he's more comfortable and he's fine and good to go, but I don't buy that. Steelers defense still really good. Really ugly, gross type of game here. Though I will say Amari is at home, and this is where he cooks. But
I think it's going to help with DTR with having more than like a day's notice to be the starter, but still, the fact that the Browns I think they're without their 2 starting tackles, and they're obviously both 2 really good starting tackles. I think TJ Watt and Hightower just feast. So that was
just and I think there's just a lot higher ceiling in terms of pass volume here for Justin Herbert and the Packers offense and the Chargers offense than against the Packers than you do. So yeah, I'm gonna go Quentin Johnson here, especially with Jalen Guyton out. I think that really makes it a much easier conversation. Sam, should I start Chuba, Spears, Hunt, or Foreman? This is gonna be Chuba for me.
I would go Hunt.
Tam, we're not gonna be much help. I'm gonna be Pollard. Cody's gonna be Achane.
Both in good spots.
Yes, both in really good spots. I think this is the game Pollard breaks out. Braden, full PPR. Do I flex Romeo Dobbs or Alexander Madison?
This is another situation where I would just swing for the fences and I would go Dobbs. Chargers are a pass funnel. I mean, the Broncos have been better since giving up 100 points, 100 fantasy points between Mostert and Achane. And Madison has just been, he's not been good. So I would just swing and go Dobbs.
Yeah. TX, Kyler. I think we might have already answered, but Kyler, we're going with on that one. Christian, start Cooper or Henderson?
It's going to be Hendo for me.
Yeah, I agree on that. Nico or Thielen? This is Nico. I have Thielen as a wide receiver 3 this week. So, Jax, thinking Dell over Puka this week. Yes, I would go Dell over Puka. I like both. I think both of them are top 12 wide receivers this week, but I prefer Dell. Oh, wait, we already answered that. Over on the FB, pick 2 running backs and 1 flex. Saquon, Singletary, Swift, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins. So the running backs are going to be Swift and Singletary.
I'm going to go Barkley and Singletary. And then Evans.
I'm going to go Hopkins over Evans. Goff or Tua? This is Tua. And then Metcalf or Derrick Henry flex, full PPR. Full PPR, I'm going to go with Metcalf.
Yeah.
Ian, sit 1, Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, Singletary, Aaron Jones. I'm gonna sit Derrick Henry. It's really close between Henry and Aaron Jones. Both of them have undersold expectations for me this year. but it's just with Aaron Jones. We know he's more involved in the passing game. Derrick Henry isn't. Both have been both matchups. Both defenses have been really good against the run. Um, both are pass funnels, and so I just slightly lean Aaron Jones because of that. And so Derrick Henry, I think eventually is going to have another good game at some point this year, for sure. But it just always worries me because if they fall behind, Derrick Henry is going to get game scripted out. Aaron Jones really isn't in a spot where he would ever get game scripted out. And so that's why I slightly lean that. And I'm sure because, that's the way it works. Let's see. Start Cooper. Oh, we already answered that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner or Taylor Swift?
Neither. I mean, if I was forced to pick one, I'd go Kylie, but Taylor Swift just doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't do it for me.
I mean, you're talking about someone that is a billionaire, okay? I mean, I'm saying.
It's not like Kylie Jenner is hurting
No, but I guess I got to go. She's now full member of the Kansas City Chiefs.
We don't have time for this conversation.
We don't. Go. I got some lineups to build. You got to get through these. Full PPR from Steve. 2 flex: Brian Robinson, Singletary, Nico, or Godwin. It's gonna be the first 2 for me.
Yeah.
Kyle, Gabe, Brian, and Cooks, Madison, Ford. Pick 1 running back, 1 flex, full PPR. It's gonna be Ford, and I'm gonna swing for the fence with Gabe Davis.
Same.
Jax, Aaron Jones. Yep. Oh wait, did we get this? Did we miss this?
Oh shit! I think we did. Sorry, Twiz.
Yeah, did not anything under. Sorry, like I think thinking under 5, like it doesn't like give us the notification.
Doesn't pop up. Yeah,
which is annoying. So
I'm really sorry for missing this.
Yeah. Stroud or Mahomes. This is gonna be Mahomes.
Yep.
And then James Cook or Deontay Johnson. This is James Cook.
Cook.
Apologize for that. We normally try to catch him.
Yeah.
So. I need RB2, wide receiver 2, and a flex. Aaron Jones, Mostert, Achane, Pacheco, Puka, Debo, or Ayuk. So the wide receiver 2 is going to be Ayuk for me. The RB2 is going to be Achane. And the flex is going to be Puka.
Yep.
1K William, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, or Garrett Wilson. Pick 2. This is going to be Brown and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen or Mostert, flex, full PPR. I'm going to go with Mostert. Sebastian, I like James Cook with the new. With the new OC this week. We'll see how that plays. Hopefully, he does get more run because he should. Should I run with the Jets D or pick up Lions, Jags, Commanders, Bills? I'm going to run with the Commanders.
Yeah, I would go Commanders over Jets this week. I'm curious, RT, like what would you like?
Yeah, what credentials would that be? Like, you know what I mean?
Like we could first of all, we could say anything. Like there's really no way to like fact check anything we say. And even if we did say like, yeah, I've won at least 3 championships 5 years in a row. Like for all you know, they could be family leagues with my grandma. You know what I mean? Like I think it'd be really hard to do that. I mean, I guess DraftKings, some type of like fantasy site where you can see like money actually won would be really the only fair way to do it. You know what I mean? I did just take down the DraftKings slate the other day.
Yeah, I won 10,000 last year on DraftKings. I won 5,000, the year before that. So I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think to me, I think the question would be more like I don't think credentials is going to help you. Like you can say whatever you want, like you said, you can make anything up. I think it would just be in the one would be how much to me would matter if it was me and I was trying to find somebody. I want something that's going to give you more context to why things are, not just listing names off. I know with this it's tough because you only have a certain amount of time. But one reason, like on our Wednesday shows, that we fall behind so much because we spend so much time like breaking down
And
the
Sunday
why
show.
we're going to play, who we're playing, and so like if it's like I can sit here and say whatever I want, but is there much context behind that advice? And not that people are going to get this right and wrong, but I think that to me, I mean, goes a long way, more than anything. Um, but I mean, doesn't matter who. I don't care what YouTube, whatever channel you're talking about. It does not matter. People are going to get stuff wrong. It's just you try to get more stuff right than wrong, and actually have some, like I said, some sort of
Or
context, some sort of
process.
process as
Yeah.
to how you got there, and why it is that you played who you would, or why you're feeling the way you're feeling, versus just throwing out names. Because I can easily, just as easily, do that as well. It's not hard, but and the same thing I always say is it's your fantasy team at the end of the day. Like you have to make those decisions on who you're playing. For me, it would be more of a why would you choose that and what's the reasoning behind it, and is it different from the way that I'm feeling? So if I was asking somebody a question and I wanted to go with a certain player and they went with the other option, I would want to know why, just so they can have more of an understanding of where that person's at and what information they're using versus just listing names off. So, anyways, Caden, Jalen Warren or Gabe Davis?
I would just swing and go Gabe. But if you need just safe points, like I think Warren is probably likely to get you 8 at least. I would say. So if you just need safety, I would go Warren. If you need to swing, I would go Gabe Dave.
Yeah. Kitty, pick 2, Monty Gibbs or H-Chan. This is going to be the last 2. Sorry. Remember, this could be Monty's revenge game against the Bears. It
Okay,
could, for sure. But
still not a great matchup.
but that's a narrative. That's not a like facts are the Bears have been one of the best run defenses in the league this year, and that's not hyperbole. That is fact. They have been excellent against the run this year. They have the highest stuff rate in the league. Like they have just been really, really, really good. Yes, he could go down and get on the 1 yard line a couple times. He could plunge into the end zone. But I don't have high Gibbs. On the other hand, the way you beat the Bears is with pass catching running backs. They've allowed the most receiving yards on the season. And then we've talked about H-Chan, with that situation too. So I get it. Revenge narrative, all that stuff is there. But in a full PPR, I think you go Gibbs and H-Chan. They have the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
I have most certain 3 out of the 4 leagues. I wish H-Chan would just sit out the rest of the year. Yeah, that's frustrating. But they're also like he's going to see he's going to see a really healthy workload rest of the season. Like this is like the Steelers situation, but on but at a much higher or a much better offense.
Yeah.
2 teams, this offense. So I don't think it's going to negatively affect him all that much. How do you feel about vetoing trades?
We didn't answer this one.
Oh, sorry, Eric. Fournette or McLaughlin? It's going to be McLaughlin. I have no idea what Fournette, if what that role could look like. Latavius finally had himself a good game last week. I just probably go McLaughlin. I don't really. I mean, in terms of it was a better handcuff. Yeah, I think you could probably look at it like that. How do you feel about veto? I don't think you should ever veto a trade, unless you can prove without a shadow of a doubt that it was collusion. You should never veto a trade. It's not your job to dictate who is what people make trades. I've seen plenty of really bad trades. The worst one that I've always remembered was in my my home league that I play. Somebody traded Kevin Smith, who used to play for the Lions, for Marshawn Lynch. The guy who had Marshawn Lynch traded him for Kevin Smith, and he just thought it was the best move ever. I think he had like a good preseason. I think he got cut after the next week. Like it was the worst trade you've ever seen in your life. But nobody vetoed that because you have to let people make dumb decisions, right? Like I know it sucks. People say it ruins the integrity of the league and stuff like that, but at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. As long as it's not it's not collusion. Like if it's the last place team trading with the first place team and they're trading all their studs for like bench guys you would drop, yes, that's collusion. You would just reject that,
Yeah.
and you don't even need to vote on that. That's just your commissioner goes in and like, no, this isn't happening, and you delete it.
Yeah, unless you can prove collusion, it should never be vetoed. And I unfortunately I think especially in redraft leagues, people are quick to veto because they don't want to see like a good team get better. And that's what's really frustrating about redraft leagues. So no, unless you can prove collusion, no vetoes at all whatsoever. HN or B Rob from Killer Quicks over on Twitch. This is going to be HN for me, but it's close.
It's gonna be Brian Robinson for me, but
Bryce, HN, Collins, Hall, full PPR. HN for me again. Kevin going Brees.
yep, it's gonna be Brees Hall.
Seahawks or Jags? I'm going to go Jags.
I'm gonna go Jags.
SS pick 2. Pacheco, White, Cooks, Warren, Henderson.
White and Cooks.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't see. I would go Cook and Hendo. Zombie Zone, Smitty or Derrick Henry in the flex. I'm going to go Smitty.
Devonta Smith.
Wavy, Dell, Addison, Garrett, pick 2 in a standard. It's going to be Tank Dell and Garrett Wilson for both of us. Jacob, we haven't, bro. It's been 3 weeks. Finally, I have RB2. I was able to get Pacheco for Wilson. Feeling great. I like it. HN over Ford, yes. But see, that's the issue. Like, I could say, I think the only way to do it would be with like DraftKings or if you use like safe leagues or something like that. Other than that, like I can say I've won 25 leagues over the past 5 years. Like, there's no way you can
And also,
check that.
what's the quality of the league that you're playing in? You
Right.
know, like I could play, like I can go and jump in a bunch of leagues with like people I work with and stuff like that know nothing about football and just dominate there and be like, yeah, look how awesome I am. Like, and like unless you're playing like in high
free
stakes
ESPN
leagues, like
leagues.
FFPCs and stuff like that, like yeah, sure, but
Yeah,
again,
FFPC would be another way.
yeah.
Amper needs 2 here. Connor Hall, HN. It's going to be the last 2 for me.
Yeah.
Adam Fritz, Metcalf, Rice, Warren at the flex start 2.
I'm going to go Metcalf and Rashee Rice.
Same for me. Mario traded Kincaid and Pollard for Brees Hall. 10-man full PPR, 4 and 6. RBs are JT Gibbs, Keaton Mitchell, Herbert on IR. Not anymore. Picked up Freiermuth on it as well and have Ingram. See, a little pricey for Brees Hall. I don't think it was like
yeah.
I think
and you need to
especially if
shake
you're
it up
having
a little bit. I mean, you're 4 and 6.
Yeah, I mean with having JT and Gibbs, like I don't know that going out and getting Brees Hall is completely necessary. Like if I were willing to trade Kincaid and Pollard, I'd probably set my sights a little bit higher. I think it's a little much, but like it's not. I don't think it's awful. Definitely not a vetoable trade. That's for sure. Prescott or Howell is going to be Dak for me.
Yeah, Dak.
Crystal. Love Crystal coming through with the non-fantasy question. Thanksgiving week coming up. What are your plans? Do you guys cook or just eat? I just eat.
Yeah. Yes. Sit down.
I wish I would have taken the time when I was a kid to watch what my mom did and like go through the process because like I said, like her stuffing 101. But like I'm useless when it comes to like I can cook, but don't like I'd be more of like a side guy. Like don't ask me to do like anything important when it comes to Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
What about you, Crystal? What are you doing? Are you the cooker? Or are you the eater as well? Mel, flex me. Dell, Puka, Wilson, pick one. This is going to be Dell for both of us. Yeet. Pacheco for Dobbs and Pollard. Oh, God. This should be a slam dunk for Pollard. I probably still lean Pollard's side, but it's closer than what it should be. PC, Henderson, Najee, Gabe Davis, or Mooney in the flex. This is going to be Henderson for me.
Yep.
Monty Gibbs, Achane, pick 2 for Kenny. I think we got this one.
Yeah, I think we did. It was Gibbs and Achane.
Yeah. Simp, Cook, Kincaid, Connor, Ridley, flex 1, full PPR.
I'm going to go Kincaid.
Cook. Dropping nukes. Gamble and Murray shootout over Herbert.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Murray over Herbert. It's scary just because for the most part this year, Justin Herbert has been fantastic. They have so many injuries to that team, and so the way you beat the Packers really is through the air or on the ground for sure. And so road matchup outside of the dome, I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray, which has just a much better game environment.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go Thielen over Warren.
Yeah.
Kyler Olave rest of the season. This is gonna be Olave for me. Like, it should be Kyron, and the one thing I keep going back to here is they have not given anyone the workload they've given Kyron. So it is possible he comes back and he's like the guy again. But like he wasn't like fantastic either. So like I don't know. I keep going back and forth on that one. I would probably lean Olave, but if you need running back help, I don't mind going Kyron either. Like, sorry to give like a non-answer answer, but that's
yeah,
kind of how I feel on that one. Keith, missing Jefferson, Nico, or Connor. I'm going to go Nico there.
Yep.
Beat it down, B. Jones, Moore, Puka, non-PPR.
This is going to be DJ, or no, sorry, it's going to be Puka for me.
Puka. Hey, it's what we're trying to do. Like, that is the credential, right? Like, that's the true credential. People returning customers, right? Like I think that's how you look at it. Pick 2 here for Beat It Down: Jones, Walker, Brian Robinson, Achane. It's gonna be the last 2 for me.
I know, yeah, me too. But it seems super scary, like to rely on these 2 guys. You know, like when you have those other 2 options. But the matchup involved, everything else that's lined. I would go with the last 2.
Excuse me. Pick 2.5 PPR: Evans, Puka, Dell. It's gonna be Dell and Evans for me, but I think you have Puka over Evans, right, Kev?
Yeah, Puka and Dell.
Can't go wrong here. I like all these guys. Let's go. Shazutu. Get Diggs and Pacheco, 2024 second trade away. Dell, Laporta, B. Rob, 7-3. Komet as a backup in Dynasty. Get Diggs and Pacheco in a second trade away. Dell, Laporta, B. Rob. Man, I think I would rather have the Dell and Laporta side.
I mean, Pacheco could be replaced after this year.
Yeah. Laporta well over Komet in Dynasty. Like, I get it, Komet's been okay, but a lot of that has come with Tyson Bagent at the helm. Like, I don't think Komet has seen as much production with Fields there. Dell, young Studley piece, points per game. I can't imagine Diggs and Dell are that far off. I don't think it's a bad trade by any means, but I think I would have rather had the Dell Laporta side. Got Caps back in it. Guys need help. If I lose, I'm out of the playoffs. Pressure is on. Kev, we want to talk credentials. Here's credentials. Addison, DJ, Lockett, Rondell, Ford. I would not want to put my playoff hopes on Rondell Moore, but I think that's what I'm doing here, Kev. I think he's in the clear best spot out of all these guys.
I think this one's either Addison or Ford for me.
Okay.
PPR. I'm gonna go with Ford. I just think there's a shot that he sees 20 plus touches today. And so I do like him. PPR, I mean, with Addison, with Jefferson not playing, it obviously helps. KJ Osborne's back, but, I mean, does he? I mean, Jordan Addison plays from a lot from the slot. This is going to help. Not seeing the worst matchup that you're gonna get on that defense with Patrick Surtain. So Addison is also really intriguing, but I think I just lean forward just because I lean more towards the volume of touches that I think you're guaranteed with him.
Ford would be my second option if that helps, Daniel. So good luck to you. Hope to see you back here next week. Brunel has a trade question between Kamara, Pollard, Walker. Which one should I trade Laporta for? Desperate at RB would have to trade Laporta to get it done. Currently have Bijan, Spears, and Chandler. This would be Pollard for me.
I mean, if you can get Alvin Kamara, I think you would have to go Alvin Kamara, I think.
It would be one of those two and not Walker. Non-PPR flex spot here for Beat It Down, Walker or Puka. I mean, I'm going to go Puka.
Yeah, this is Puka from non-PPR. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker. Sorry.
Yeah, it's really close. Patrick, 10-man PPR trade downs, Ridley, Cook, Charbonnet for DJ Moore and Adams. I would do that, as long as you're going to still be okay at running back with sending away Cook. Not that he's been fantastic by any means, but that tells you how bad running back has been. But I would not mind doing that for DJ Moore and Adams.
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah.
Jose, Stroud, or Herbert?
Stroud.
No Chargers wide receivers. Yeah, I mean, the stack doesn't really matter for me as much in, lineup setting leagues, but gotta love this situation in that game environment for for Houston. Jonathan, Wilson, Tank, Brees, or Achane in the flex. I'm going to go Tank on this one. Kev, I think you're going to be with me.
Jonathan, who else are you starting? Like, I mean, I get it with Achane, Garrett Wilson, but not being able to play Brees. Who are you starting at running back? Like, who else are you starting at running back there, Jonathan? Because I have Brees as a top 5 running back, but I have Tank as a top 10 wide receiver. I would lean Brees Hall, but it's really close. If you can, yeah, that's what I would lean it.
I went Jefferson here over Swift.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When I was young, I definitely brought the beverages, but over the last 5 years, I've been the cooker. 17-pound turkey. Whew.
It's crazy how long you have to put the turkey in the oven to let it defrost, or not in the oven,
That's
in the
that's why
refrigerator.
that's why
Yeah,
Kev doesn't cook.
yeah, but no, that's yeah. Because I'm like, it takes that long to defrost, but I guess it makes sense. So you're talking about a 17-pound turkey. Yeah,
Yeah, and we're not that far away either.
no,
Matthew over on Twitch, Achan or Pollard.
we're gonna be split on this. I'm Pollard. You're gonna be HN.
Yep. But that is going to do it. Appreciate all you guys for rocking with us. Thank you for joining us for yet another Sunday show. We'll be going live tonight at halftime for the first look at Week 12 waivers. You can always join our Discord, or if you have any other questions, drop them in any of our YouTube comments. Good luck to you all in Week 11, and we hope to see you back next week. Bye.